but still a bit chilly, and making my lists of stuff to do because it's always something to do. You never seem to get to, at least around here, you never seem to get to a point where you can just coast. You know, it's always something to do. You know, there's always something going on. It just never stops. So don't think because you get a plot of land or something that's, you know, you're never going to have anything to do, but enjoy being outside or whatever. No, doesn't work that way. Some things are enjoyable to do. Some things are just a chore. And as you get older, you just get tired of doing chores. You know, it's the way it is. And now you know why back in the old days they used to have 12 kids. So they put them to work. Yeah. Decided to put up Sasquatch crossing today. I got the Enjoy Coke Classic with the HK MP5 there. And then I get this Guns and Ammo Yuck Yucks, you know, with a couple of grenades on the sides. There's no hook and loop on this one right now. I took it off to use it on something else. But I used to wear that one around New York City for fun to aggravate the liberal left, you know, because that's always fun, right? Aggravating the idiots on the left. I'm gonna get my turn in your weapons. The government will take care of you. Said no American Indian ever. They got their guns right there. Don't turn in your guns. Virginia is going to be the start probably of Second American Revolution, because the clown governor who thinks that, you know, she doesn't have to do what anybody says went and signed a bunch of pieces of paper, I guess, that are supposedly a threat to take away people's guns in Virginia. But I'm gonna say that there's gonna be a lot of patriotic men and women that are gonna hold fast. That they're not turning nothing in. And if you want it, you better try to take it. And I'm gonna tell you, all you Virginians that may be watching, you hold together. Wait till you see the whites of their eyes and then give them hell. That's right. They want a revolution? Bring it. I support you. If the revolution spreads, comes my way, I guarantee you, I will be a Revolutionary War member. I will be a part of that. Because these politicians are way too big for their britches. That woman needs to be taken out of office and thrown in Gitmo. Spamberger or whatever her name is. I don't know what her name is. I'm going to print me a target and use it as a pellet rifle target. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to print her face as a pellet rifle target, and I'm going to use it for fun. That ought to tick somebody off, right? But anyway, you know, she obviously hasn't listened to anybody. She thinks that her crap doesn't stink, but she's going to learn in a hurry, right fast and in a hurry. If she decides to send troops against the people of Virginia, you have the answer. You have the answer. The answer is war. That's right. You know what? If you if you poke a pit bull at the fence one too many times, he may have already dug a hole just down the way a little bit and say, you know what, I'm tired of you poking me. I'm going to take care of you. And then he'll go and come through his little hole he's dug, get over there and bite the crap out of you, which you would deserve, right? Yeah. Well, I, you know, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to talk about today. I didn't really want to talk about a bunch of stuff about revolution and whatnot. But the thing is that they're pressing so hard on everybody. And it seems like they just want it. They just want to goad everybody into a revolution. Even in Canada, they said, no, we're not giving you our guns. And now the Canadians are saying, the quote-unquote government is saying, oh, well, we'll send police house to house to disarm you. Here's my message for the Canadians. Kill them. That's right. You heard me right. They send people house to house to confiscate all of your guns in Canada. Rise up and take them out. They will learn real quick that the people hold the power. That's right. You will learn real quick that the people hold the power. Anybody who's holding the weapons is who's in charge. That's right. That's why the United States has always kept its freedom, is because the people had guns. You can't get bullied when you have the gun. You understand? When you give away your guns, that's an idiotic move. Because then you could be bullied. It's better just to kill the offender and be done with it. And then you can live in peace again. It's called self-defense. You have a right to that. And you have a right to have guns. It's a God-given right. It's not given by government. And this applies to the American people as well here in the United States. We have Americans north of the border in Canada, and we have Americans south of the border in the United States. So we're all Americans. We're all Americans. Canadians are Americans. United Statesians are Americans. But the thing is that we cannot allow political clowns to be dictators, thinking that they have this unchecked power against the people when they don't. And this also goes for anywhere else in the world, not just the United States. Right now they're going crazy in Ireland, and things are hot in around in the UK and everything. Hey, take care of business. It's time to just deal out justice. Okay, it's time to deal out justice. I saw something, it's so stupid. I saw it this morning or last night, I can't remember when. In the United States, the outlawing of crossbows, I believe it was in New Jersey, which is not surprising because they're one of the communist states that's trying to get rid of guns, along with Rhode Island, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Illinois, California, Virginia. You know what? There's 50 states in the United States. They should all have the same rights, and they do. But so many of these states have said, well, in our state, we don't allow this because, this is our state. We're going to kind of follow the Constitution, but we're not. The thing is that the U.S. Constitution, to me, overrides all other state constitutions whenever that state wants to be a member of the United States. Your Constitution is no longer valid, in my opinion. If you want to be in the United States, you need to follow the U.S. Constitution, not the state constitution. You can't have two chiefs. No, you can't have two chiefs. Only one. So you are either going to follow the U.S. Constitution or you're not. And if you're not, then you need to be subject to fines and tariffs as a state. That's right. I'm telling you. Put you in your place right fast and in a heartbeat. If they decide to go ahead and treat each state as a separate country, and I don't care if they do. I don't. Because stuff has to be done in this country in order to change it back to the way it should be. No state should have more rights for their people than another state. There should be no red and blue states or any of that nonsense. And the people that are pushing that stuff in these states should be arrested and sent to Gitmo. I'm talking about people like Blumenthal in Connecticut, and Murphy in Connecticut, and Healy in Massachusetts, and those clowns in Rhode Island and Illinois and in Oregon as well. Oregon's issue. Now, I sound like a rabble rouser. Maybe I am a rabble rouser, but I'm a rabble rouser in a good way. I'm stirring stuff up in a good way, hopefully. And I don't give a crap what anybody says, because I have a First Amendment unalienable right to say whatever I want. That's right. When they start saying, oh, well, you can't say that because that offends somebody or that hurts somebody's feelings or whatever, I don't give a crap. If it hurts your feelings, cry. But don't be whining about it. Go cry in a corner somewhere. Oh, you hurt my feelings. I'm tired of this crap. You know what? I was raised hard. My dad was a military man. He raised me hard. He told me, he said, one day you're going to be in the military and you better walk right, boy. You better walk with your feet straight. Straight. Don't walk like a duck. Don't walk pigeon-toed. Don't do this. Don't do that. You walk straight. You stand erect. Be a man. My dad was hard, but he was hard on me in a good way, and he made me a man. He made me a man early. Got shotgun when I was 10 years old. Shotgun. 10-year-old kid with shotgun. You don't see that kind of stuff no more, except in real states where, people are really real. People grow up. They don't sit around and cry in a corner about somebody hurting their feelings or whatever. Anyway, well, I'll tell you. I will not follow unconstitutional laws or orders. No. And neither should you. I will enforce it. On my property. I will enforce my rights. This property where I am, I consider myself the Lord of the manor. There's the Lord God, Jesus, but on my property, in this physical world, I will enforce freedom to do whatever I want. And I will never allow anybody to come on my land and try to do anything against me. They will reap the rewards of getting a solid ass kicking or death. And this is the way people need to be. You know what? I'm a nice guy, but don't you dare come and try to step on me. Because I ain't having it. I am not having it. And this is the way people need to be. Not only in the United States, but in Canada, in England, Scotland, Ireland, Australia, New Zealand, etc. France, Germany. Okay? I mean, don't be a lockstepper. Don't be just somebody who follows the rules that somebody else made for you. No. You're a free person. Better behave like one. I'm a free person. I don't hold anybody over me but God. That's it. I don't take orders from nobody. I don't care who it is. Nope. I'm an old man. I am beyond nonsense. It's one thing to be respectful in society and so on, but it's another thing for governments to institute rules, laws, and so on that are just there to oppress people to the point to where they're slaves. Okay? I ain't no slave. No. I will rule and govern myself until I have Jesus in my presence and I am in the kingdom, and I will do whatever he says. I'll do whatever Jesus says right now. If Jesus tells me, maybe he'll directly talk to me. But if he tells me, hey, this is how it has to be, this is what I want done, then I'll listen and I'll do whatever he wants. But I'm not listening to no more humans. Done. Might take a suggestion. That's right. Maybe. But I have been in charge so many times in my life for my leadership abilities. I have been put in charge of things. Hey, we need this done. You're right, we need this done. Obeying your commanding officer or your superiors or whatever. You sign up for something, you go with the system. That's the way it is. However, in this day and age that we have to remember that, if your superiors give you an unlawful order that directly goes against the Constitution, then it's your duty to disobey that. If somebody says, well, it's my unfortunate position to inform you that we have to do house to house in this zone of this state, and we have to take all weapons. No. you disobey that order or else you die. I am charging every man, woman, and person old enough to wield a weapon to resist nonsense like that. Martial law does not exist. They wanted to put martial law as something that they could do? No. Absolutely not. Disobey. Give them one round at a time. That's just the way you got to do it. That just has to be the way to do it. Nobody obeys you unless you stick a muzzle in their face. Words don't do anything. And you know what? I am not obeying a piece of paper that says, well, you can't do this anymore. No. You know, the Constitution, the U.S. Constitution, has the Bill of Rights in it. Those are inalienable rights. Those cannot be taken away, changed, anything. No. Bill of Rights. Alright? And even if you burn the document, well, I got a copy. You know? I mean, the thing is that it's not the government that gives you rights. The government don't give you rights. The government is supposed to be there to enforce the fact that you have rights and to uphold your rights, to protect your rights. But they haven't been doing that. So we have to protect our own rights. We have to protect our own rights. And we have to be together as a people and do that. I'm not going to be a slave to anybody. I'm not going to allow anybody to take my property. Nothing. As much as I dislike all of the chores that I have every year to do, it's still where I live. Bought and paid for. Don't owe nobody nothing. I don't even owe any property tax as far as I'm concerned. I mean, they keep extorting property tax from people. And I think that everybody just needs to stand up and just stop paying that. We all just need to stop. What am I getting in return? Is anybody coming over to plow my field? No. Is anybody coming over to fix my fence? No. What am I getting? Nothing. Well, we collect taxes out of your taxes for schools. I don't have any kids in school. And I don't need to pay for other people's kids. That's communism. For the good of all. No. I'm not a communist. That kind of thinking, that mentality is communism. For the greater good. Communism. For the greater good. Yeehaw. Kumbaya. No. Pay it yourself. You know? I have the same truck for more than 20 years. That's right. People look at me, they say, you still got that truck? You still got that truck? I've heard that for years. You still got that truck? I don't know how long people keep their vehicles, but, you know, if it ain't wore out, you don't get rid of it. You just use it. You keep it, maintain it. It takes care of you, you take care of it. You know? I'm very tired as a Christian. I am. I'm very tired. I'm very tired of the nonsense that I see day in and day out. Day in and day out. government trying to take the rights of the people away, trying to put us into submission, trying to tell us what we're going to do all the time, trying to force us to pay more money in taxes for this and that and the other thing. Man, I'm tired. I wish Jesus would hurry up and rapture all of the Christians on the planet, that way I could just go on and have a house and not have to think about having any kind of an income or, because he provides you a place. He provides you a place, and he's not going to provide you some rundown dump. He's going to give you a nice house, nice house to live in, and you'll be able to visit with your relatives that have already passed on and friends and so on. Things will be obviously different, but you won't have to deal with all the stupidity that goes on this planet no more. It'll be done. It'll be harmony and peace and so on. I can't wait. I can't wait to move on to the next. I'm looking to level up. Yeah, I'm ready to level up anytime. But I got to do whatever he wants me to do in this world first. You see what I'm saying? So 2 Thessalonians 2 says that first is the revolt, the revolution, the falling away. That's the first thing. 2 Thessalonians 2 says that. And then it says that the rapture, okay, the rapture will happen next. And then after everybody's raptured away from the world, then the man of sin can be revealed. Okay? So don't just stop at one verse in 2 Thessalonians 2. Read the whole thing through very thoroughly. Study it. Study it. Some people say, oh, it doesn't say that, but I can already tell that they're either ignoring verses 6, 7, and 8, or they did not read it. That's what I will tell you right now. So many people that say, there's no pre-tribulation rapture. Well, you just ignored, what it said in the whole chapter. Context, baby. It means something. I have a 12th grade plus reading level. That's not everybody in this country has that. They usually stop at 6th, 7th grade, something like that. But I took more courses to enable me to have an extremely good reading and comprehension level. Okay? I love to read. When I was young, I used to read and read and read. I read all kinds of stuff. Read encyclopedias. Collier's Encyclopedia and others. Books on anatomy. There used to be these little clear pages. I remember you could, oh, look, there's the eyes, and I flip it over, and there's this, and I flip it over another clear page, and it gets down finally to the skull. I used to look at all those stuff and read all that stuff. I've had people say, well, I can't believe how much stuff you know. How well read you are. See, that's the key words right there. A well read person is somebody who has read a lot and taken courses or whatnot. They know a lot about a lot of things because they've been around, they've studied, they've learned from other people. That's what you got to do. You can't be just like focused on one thing all the time. You got to focus on everything. You have to have an appetite for learning. In the military, you take a weapon down, clean it, put it back together. Okay, now do it with blindfold on. See what I'm saying? You know, you don't just stop at the basics. No. You go whole hog on everything. So you know it. You really know it. You don't just have like just a basic knowledge of it. You know it. Oh, well, that's a firing pin. I could feel it in my fingers. You know, every part, you should already know it with your eyes closed. That goes for all kinds of stuff. I had one of my brothers was a mechanic. I mean, he was a really good mechanic. He's passed away, but he was a really good mechanic. He didn't need no books. He could take everything down, strip an engine block clean, have everything in little containers, getting cleaned or whatnot. Take it all, you know, piece by piece. He could take the whole engine apart, clean it, recondition, rebuild, new rings, the whole 9 yards. I mean, he could do it all. And back together. Didn't need a book. He was really good at mechanics. Anytime I had an issue, he was the one I went to. Because back in the day, I was not, you know, really interested in mechanics other than making sure that my vehicles were well maintained and drivable, you know. But he was very interested in all of the little working parts, you know. He maintained vehicles for a police department one time. Took care of all their vehicles. And he said they were very hard on him. High-speed chases and all that. Rip-roaring around. You know, they needed a lot of maintenance. A lot of TLC. Police cars do. So, yeah, he worked for a police department one time on their auto mechanics. Yeah. He got kind of tired of that because they were always tearing the cars up. Didn't want to spend much money to keep them maintained. So he was like, you know what? I'm out. Yeah, they didn't want to buy good parts to keep them lasting. You know, they just wanted to have the most cheap parts they could in their cars, and then they wondered why they wouldn't, you know, hold up. You know, I never use cheap stuff. You know, I always use the best oils and so on in my vehicles. That's just the way it is. You know, you gotta look at it like that. You know, when you use good stuff, it lasts longer. You know. Anyway, it's pretty much off topic as you can get cars going from Revolutionary War to cars, car maintenance. How many minutes am I in here? Alright, I'm in a good bit. Got a few minutes left. You know, but my point being, guys, is that we have all this stuff going on in the world, and really they're just trying to wear us down. I'm going back to the secular stuff now. They're really trying to wear us down. You know, but you can't let them get to you. You know, I'm really tired of doing a lot of things that I do here at my house, you know, because every year, you know, it's do this, do that, you know, get the field ready, plant, you know, take care of stuff that's growing, water, this, that, the other. You know, it's always something. And then the house is very old. It's over 200 years old. So, you know, I got to deal with like the chimney. You know, so I got to do a little bit of work on the crown of my chimney. I want to put a topper on it so that the rain doesn't go straight down in the chimney. And then I want to, you know, put some more roofing tile on uh, the house, and then I'll do one of the outbuildings, I think. But I've got a lot of fences to repair. Things. There's always something when you have a place. There's always something to repair, and everything costs money. It costs money. It takes time. If you don't know how to do something, then you have to hire somebody to do it for you. Okay? It's always something. So we have to maintain our lives right now. We know that things are in the works in the spiritual world. We know that we are in the end of the Bible. We are in the end of the Bible. That's right, we're in the end. We know we're in the end. Because we've seen all of the signs and we've seen prophecies coming true. We know where we are. We're just waiting. We're just waiting on God to go ahead and do whatever He's going to do. Okay? But in the meanwhile, we got to maintain, you know, our regular lives, our regular existence. I remembered what that saying was that L.A. Marzulli was saying about the UFO thing. He said, when we go up, they come down. That's it. I couldn't remember what it was. But I've been thinking about it for a bit. Thinking about what's the logic. Is it this or is it that? The logic is that when we go up, they come down. That's the pre-tribulation rapture. When we go up, they come down. Why is that? It's because the UFO thing, okay, aliens are demons. They're masquerading as another form of life that came from somewhere else, right? And they have ships like this. You know, these are props. They don't need them, but you know, they have started in the last, you know, 50 years, 60 years, they have started making themselves, you know, more and more known. And remember all the animal mutilations that used to happen? They're collecting DNA from websites and stuff. Well, they're using all that stuff to make their own bodies to inhabit. So they are possessing creatures that they grow. They make them. They make bodies to inhabit. That's right. That's why they look like bugs. You know, they just look like beings with big eyes or whatever. And then they say, well, we're from Zeta Reticuli, you know. But they're not. They're just demons inhabiting a meat suit and cruising around in these craft, you know, that they've had built. You know, they build these crafts and they cruise around in them, you know. Oh, there we go. Yeah, they built these crafts, they cruise around in them, and Anyway, it's a big deception. Don't fall for it. Don't pretend they're your space brothers or any of that nonsense. You know, there is a hierarchy, and you need to understand that you are high in the hierarchy, even though right now you're only a human. When Jesus takes you into the kingdom, you're transformed into another being. You are transformed. You're no longer mortal. You're immortal. And you're not old no more. Never die. You will never die. You will be immortal. And you won't have an old body no more. Won't that be great? So, yeah. Spent a good bit of time talking about this and that. But I'm going to tell you that I got a couple of pages of stuff that I need to start working on outside the house and start doing, because it's starting to warm up. It's not warmed up yet. We're still easing into spring. But I got a whole big list of stuff to start working on, get done this year. So I'll be working on my list a lot, and I'm still waiting on the Lord to do whatever He's going to do. And then I may get done with the list this year, or I may not get done with the list. Just depends on Him. It all depends on Him. But the world is a crazy place right now. It's not going to go back to normal. It's not. I'll tell you, some of the best years in my life were in the 1970s. The 1970s. All throughout that decade was good. It was good. Some of the very best years of my life were in the 1970s. So many good things, family, learning stuff as a young person, doing things as a young person. 1970s was great. It just was. Now I'm thinking that there are other time periods, in the past 100 years that were probably as good or even better than the times that I had back in the 70s. But those people are probably dead now. They're probably already passed on to the next level. I'm going to level up. Some people level down, unfortunately. That's the way it happens. I would hope that most people would level up, or all people would level up, but there's going to be some that are not. You know that there's going to be some that are not going to go in the right direction. Like Hitler, he's in hell. he's in the fire. That's just the way it is. There ain't no way he could have talked Jesus into changing his mind. I don't think so. That sounds kind of funny, but I think he was a very evil person. Cruel. Anyway, that thing sounded off at 40 minutes, so I'm gonna let you go, and I'm gonna get started doing some stuff. I gotta start thinking more about what I want to put on my list. I will the way it always goes is I have a huge list of stuff, and I just do as much stuff as I can on it through this year. You know, as much stuff as I can. And I try to fit in a video here and there, and keep, keep contact with the viewers and friends and whatnot out there. And I try to do that. I can't do videos all the time because I got stuff to do. You only got so many days off a week, and that you need to get your chores done. It's just the way it is. And then you got everything else. Got everything else to be preparing for. All this nonsense that's going on. Government's too big for their britches. Think they're going to tell everybody what to do, how to live. I ain't putting up with it, and you shouldn't either. I don't want anybody to turn in their weapons at all. No. Doesn't matter what country you're in. Do not turn in your guns, your knives, your crossbows. Don't turn nothing in. Start building relationships and banding together. That's it. I cut off the carpet. Figure it's going to warm up. It's going to warm up. Alright, I've talked your ear off long enough, so I'm going to let you go for now. And I may be back in a day or two. Maybe Saturday. Maybe. Keep up the good work. Keep up the fight. Do not give in for nothing. Virginia, everybody's watching you. Stand tall. Stand strong. Do not bend. Do not give in. Band together. If somebody comes to your house to collect your firearms, take care of business. And all your neighbors better jump in with you. I'm telling you, you gotta stand together. It's just the way it is. And if the Second American Revolution starts in Virginia, well, just remember, there's other people out here in these United States that are with you. We may not be in the same state, but we are in the same fight. All right, so don't forget. See you later.